Did you ever see the movie Momento? Such a good film. I really dug that movie. And one of the reasons that I think it's so fascinating and it engages you so much is because there's a connection to it that you have because it feels so much like your own reality. As strange as it is to say about a person who wakes up every morning with no memories of the day before and therefore has to give himself notes or leave himself notes in order to prepare him for what's to come that next day as well as he possibly can, and then to piece his day together based on that information. As odd as it is to say that that kind of person is actually representative of all of us, when you really think deeply about it, that is what the nature of self is, right? So the difference between someone who has no memory when they wake up in the morning and they have to refer to the notes they left for themselves and for themselves in order to know something about their situation, something about their self, is very similar to waking up in the morning and having yourself as the reference point for your history and what you want to do for your future. Because yourself can be understood basically like the notes that you would leave for yourself if you didn't have a self, right? Yourself is an active memory that arises with you each morning. And depending on who you are, the intensity and consistency of that memory of self is ranging. Some people, it's extremely powerful sense of who I was yesterday, I am today. And for other people on another end of that continuum, they wake up with less of a sense of yesterday's self, determining and informing today's self. And so just the fact of understanding that there is a continuum and that even for each of us we vacillate on that continuum throughout different days of our lives gives you a parallel for that idea in Memento, that idea of having to wake up and starting from scratch anew each day. When you begin to see yourself through that kind of lens as this reconstruction each day, a piecing together of the past in reference to a desired future, you begin to see that yourself is actually a tool that you have at your disposal to train in certain ways, to produce a future version of, so that you get, if you want, more of what you want in your life. And there are strategies for doing that. That's why we do mind exercise in some ways. We are moving ourselves toward what we imagine we want in the future with the most strategic use of what we know about the brain science of the inner world. In other words, how we make inner world changes that produce changes to ourself and that change our future, that impact the future in the way that we want to. So it's spend some time meditating on that today, that idea that the self is recreated each day and actually each moment. And that gives you some separation from the fiction, the fictional self that you carry around, so that you can see yourself with a bit more clarity internally. You get enough space away from that recreating version of yourself when you can see the truth of it more clearly. And when you can get that space, you can much more effectively make shifts to yourself. Okay, with that, let's get on with some mind exercise today.